Number one human emotion is fear of loss, right? And they're always thinking about what's going on with this house that I own. Once the deal's done, it's done. It's over. You've got your money. You go do another deal.
Love it. And actually, just speaking of that, I don't know if you guys can see that, but that says Wolfpack Real Estate, and that is our actual real estate corporation right there. Yes, I did name it the Wolfpack because I'm cool like that. And that is thanks to you right there. That is Frankie Finn's Real Estate Corporation. Um, so I love how you like really simplified complexity, because I think a lot of people would struggle with, like, how do I decide which homes you go after? And as I've said with digital marketing, a lot of times beat up to my audience, is that when people want to do outreach or drum up business, it's actually more about disqualification and eliminating all the things that aren't worth your time, and then really focusing in on, in our case, it's like you want to focus on people who are spending money on advertising right now and have some kind of team in place and have proven that they pay people for help. If you just nail those two things when you aim for businesses, you'll make your life so much easier. And I see people like struggling because they chase businesses that don't have any fucking money to begin with, and then try and sell them a service and don't buy those kind of things. So I love how you mentioned I feel like this is a cheat code. You mentioned the 60% equity, non-owner occupied. For those of you guys who aren't familiar with that, that means like a person has paid down at least 40% of their mortgage. So like, if it's $100,000 house, they may only still owe $60,000 or less. And the owner doesn't live there. I wonder if you could just talk me firstly about why that list is so important and why that makes your life so much easier on this wholesaling process, because it's a vacant home, and some of the challenges you would have if it's not vacant or if they didn't have equity.
Yeah. So first of all, if it's non-owner occupied, that means the owner doesn't live there. That means the owner lives somewhere else. Okay. So if the owner lives somewhere else, they've got this other house over here that they may not have any attachment to. Maybe they inherited the house. Maybe it was a rental property. Maybe they lived there for a while and got transferred across the country to a new job, and now they just have this annoying house that's 3 states away that they're afraid somebody's breaking into every night.
Yeah, and they got a payment due every month on it.
They might have a payment, even if it's free and clear. They still have property taxes, they still have insurance, they still have utilities on, they still have to cut the grass in the summer, they get a fine by the city, they have to remove the snow off the sidewalks in the winter, or they get fined by the city. So they still have expenses. But more than anything, that the number one human emotion is fear of loss, right? And they're always thinking about what's going on with this house that I own that I'm not at. Just literally, I live in a lake house right here, and last week I woke up in the morning on a newer house, and I had a little water leak under my kitchen that went down my basement. The basement's finished, and I got downstairs, got destroyed. Well, guess what? I only let that water run overnight, and it did all that damage. These people, they're thinking about that type of thing all the time, and that's a real problem. Could be a storm, could be a tornado, could be a tree fall. You just never know. So there's a lot of potential motivation to sell fast and cheap with a list of non-owner occupied houses. The equity piece is important, because if somebody has a house worth 100 grand and they owe 100, well, and we need to buy it for 50. Well, we can't buy it for 50 if they owe 100 on it, right? That would be upside down. So we like to get the high equity, anything up to like 60% or less. So what that means is they might own it free and clear, or have a mortgage up to 60% of the value of the house. That's all a list you can buy in seconds and have it.
Yeah.
So that's why that list works. And it's a numbers game. It is a numbers game. This is a shotgun approach, because you're contacting 3, 4, 500 people a day. You're not actually doing any of the work the way I do it. You have a virtual assistant do all that stuff for pennies on the dollar, cheap. They live in a third world country. The exchange value of money is different there. They can make, $7 an hour and be really happy, whereas that's not even minimum wage where I live. So we have a virtual assistant do 90% of the heavy lifting. And so then all of a sudden you have a little system built where you're creating spreads of 5, 10, 15, 20,000 plus of what you can buy the house for compared to what you sell it for. So like I don't know exactly all the some of the money that you made, Frankie, but I know it was in the thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
You can create a small spread on a house. So a small spread on a on a an iPhone might be $50, $100. On a house, think about 5% of the value of a house. That's all we're doing is creating a 5% discount. But on a $100,000 house, that's 5 grand, can be 10 grand. On a $200,000 house, you're talking 10,000, 20,000 bucks.
Yeah. And
So,
those are the most typical deals, right? Like 10, 20,000, I'd say is the most typical.
yeah,
Although
yeah,
they go
yep.
significantly higher. I mean, you've got people doing deals in the hundreds of thousands, right?
Mm-hmm. Me personally, the best wholesale deal I ever did was 242,000.
Yeah.
But it was an apartment building, it was $1 million building. But I've done a lot of $100,000 profit deals. But our typical profit deal is in that $10,000 to $12,000 range.
Yeah.
And but you want to do multiple of those a month.
Hey guys, if you like this video, you'll also like my book on Amazon called Beyond the Agency Box, which you can also find by my name, Frankie Finn, and it's got a lot of awesome reviews. And it really just goes deeper on a lot of things we're talking about, everything you need to grow and start a lifestyle agency, from the stages you'll go through to getting clients, to how to create winning offers, to high value deliverables, to wowing clients, to building teams, to building systems, and building a boring factory that's like a 7-figure money machine for you. So if you're interested, I put links for you in the video description, as well as it'll be in the pinned top comment below, and make sure to check those out.